All right, today in the shop we have an Isuzu NPR. This is a 2007, and basically what it's doing is when you're driving and you go over a little dip in the road or something, the steering is all over the place. You actually feel like you're going to lose control. So I took a look underneath, and the drag link, the bushings were just completely shot. So today I'm going to change the drag link, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is the new drag link bar, so you can see exactly what we're going to look at underneath it here. And the one we're replacing, these bushings here are literally cut in half. They're just destroyed, and there's a lot of play in the drag link that's under there. So with this truck, you want to go under the driver's side. All right, and if you look straight up, you'll see this arm coming down. This is where the drag link is, and you can see the bushing split right there, and it goes all the way down there. See it down that end? It's actually right above your control arm there. All right. Now, I already took out 2 cotter pins. You're going to have this castle nut here. There's a cotter pin that goes through. I would recommend yours is probably going to be this rusty as well. Soaking this with some WD-40, and you're going to need some type of small pick or something that you can get into the one end of the pin that's in there, and get a hammer and tap this other side to kind of punch that out of there. They were a little difficult, but what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this nut off, and this nut actually falls right over top of the control arm here. So what you'll have to do is turn the wheel so that this will actually move itself forward or backward away from this arm, so you can get up there with a socket. So let's go ahead and start taking that first nut off there. So I got my impact gun, and the socket we're going to use is a 1 1/16. All right, we got that one off. Now I'm going to go up and turn the wheel so I can get the socket onto the other one. I turned the wheel to the left, so this way the wheel's out facing this way. You don't want to turn it to the right and turn the wheel in, because then you're kind of blocking your area to work. But now you can see this was where our bolt was before. Now the whole thing had slid forward, and I'm able to get the socket right up on there. All right, we're going to lube this up with a little bit of WD-40 here. I'm going to get my pickle fork, and I am going to put it there underneath of the joint there, and we're going to bang it in, and then we're going to try to pry up on it and try to pop that right out of there. Now, you can get one of these at pretty much any Napa store, Advanced Auto Parts, and so forth. These are great for separating joints like this. If you don't have one, and you could probably just use a regular pry bar to get up under there. These just make it a little bit more effective and easier. And we're going to try to tap it in there. All right, she's loose. Now we just... all right, now we're up to the front one. Try hitting it from out here. Did it come off? Yep, she's off. I'll show you there. If you can, let me get some light up there. You can see now it's separated. All right, there we go. There we go. Slides right out. The reason why they're so tough to get out, you can see how this is it's tapered here. So putting them in, basically, when you tighten that nut, it's gonna pull that taper down in there. But that's what you're trying to beat out there, is pretty much that much space right there that's tapered in. It's not so much this part, it's this part right here. So, but they're both out now. And another thing you can do too, if these are really tough to get out like that, if you take a small propane torch, well, a small one will take you about 15 minutes to really heat this up, because this is thick. But if you just sat here going back and forth and heated all this up right here, and remember, metal expands when you heat it, and actually try to expand this a little bit, that would help that come out a lot easier. I mean, you're definitely going to cook these bushings. They're going to catch on fire, but just keep a can of spray water next to you. But you don't want to heat up this part because you don't want this to expand. You just want this part that's all around it to expand. So just sit there with some heat. If you had a big acetylene torch and heat that up real fast, that joint will pop right out. But with a small propane tank, you'll be there a good 10-15 minutes. Get that nice and hot, and then try to bang on it or whatever. All right, I got my new one here. One thing you want to keep in mind is on these drag links, you can see that one end is actually, this is probably about 4 inches long. If you look at this end, this is probably about 2 inches. All right, and that's how you'll know. The shorter one is going to go in the back, and your longer one has to go all the way through this. So that's going to go in the front. All right, but we're going to go ahead and put our new one up there, and we're going to slide the front back in first. All right, and then what we'll do is we're going to have to turn that wheel because, oh, that just dropped on me. When I took this one out, this assembly slid in, so it's not lining up anymore. So we're going to put our first one in here, put the bolt on, then we're going to turn our wheel back straight so that this will move back in order for us to line this back up again and drop the back in. Then to tighten the nut, we're going to have to turn the wheel again sideways so that we can bring the nut forward again to get the socket on it. Hopefully you're understanding this. So first things first is we're going to put the front in there. We're going to put that nut on there. Make sure you have this bar, the back end, up over this arm when you're putting the front end. Because if you put the front end and you have this bar on the ground here, you won't be able to lift it up because it's going to hit that control arm for you to get it over that to be able to put it in. So put the back and rest it up over the control arm for now while you're putting the front in. Because once you have this in and you tighten it, and if you have that end laying on the ground, you're not going to be able to raise it back up. Okay? And also, if you're trying to get this in, you might have a little bracket right here that was in the way. It's really flimsy. You can kind of bend that down a little bit, just enough to be able to get your drag link in there to be able to slide it back in here. But you can also pivot this. You can see this moves. So you can move this back and forth so that you're able to slide that in. Okay? And now we have our top just resting up there for now. But I'm going to go ahead and just start putting the nut back on this one, but I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I got the nut back on. All right. Now, what I need to do, because this is no longer aligned back here, I need to push forward on this and drag that up to line up with this hole. And I'm going to need 2 hands to do that. But I didn't tighten this all the way. It's just thread it on for a second. All right, so I got 2 hands on the bar, and I'm just going to push forward towards the front of the truck to move, to be able to line up this one in the back. I'm almost there. Let me keep pulling. Is it there yet? Oh, we're almost there. Let me pull more until it drops in. Almost there. There we go. Okay. All right, we're in. Now I'm going to put my other nut right here. Just hand tight. New drag link is in. Now we're going to take our 11/16 and our impact, and we're going to drive these in. Remember, these are tapered on the end so that we can press this in there. And you'll see it, pull it down. All right, now I'm going to back that off just a hair. And I want to make sure I can't push it out. And, all right, it's good. It's seated in there. And you can see the hole there. Make sure you line up that hole with your castle nut there, because you want to be able to put your pin. And now we got to straighten the wheel out, because I can't get my impact gun up in here because this is pushed all the way forward. So when we straighten the wheel, it's going to drop this back down here so that I can come in with my impact and go ahead and seat that one. All right, I got both castle nuts back on and tight. Got them lined up with my holes. I got my 2 pins here that I am going to slide in there. Just line it up to your hole. I apologize about this blurry footage. I have grease all over this phone. And no, I don't have a professional camera set up like a lot of these YouTubers. I'm kind of a run and gun type of person, so who the hell's got time to set up a tripod and stuff while you're working on a car? You basically want to bend them around the nut there and make sure that it's not going to slide out, obviously. Probably have to snip some of this excess off. I didn't have any smaller pins here. I'm going to bend them around, actually, like... Yeah, I'm going to snip them off. All right, guys, so that's how you do the drag link on the Isuzu NPR 2007. If they weren't completely stuck on there like that, typically that job should be about 20 minutes tops. It's actually really simple and really accessible. But when they get stuck like that and you start getting into, beating it and busting your knuckles and breaking out the torch, it can be a little lengthy. So, but it's not too hard. Anybody can do it as long as you got the proper stuff to do it. So anyways, that's it. That's how you do it. Hit subscribe below. Give me a like, guys. Leave a comment. I'll see you next time.